Hello, everyone. I am Matthew Thomas from Super Cool Radio, and I have a very special guest with me at this time. He is a Canadian session bassist, Ronnie Robson, and he's got a very long resume of bands he's worked with, like Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, Whitesnake, Deep Purple, Megadeth, Testament, Quiet Riot, Blue Oyster Cult, Thin Lizzy, Ronnie James Dio, Platinum Blonde. I can go on and on of all the great bands he's worked with, Heaven and Hell, and he's currently part of Hollywood Monsters. Ronnie, that was a lengthy intro, but how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well. It's October, getting ready for Halloween, and I'm chatting with you.
Well, you know what? You know what we have to do? I'm going to do a shout out right away.
Go for it.
For Christina Avila,
Yes.
my East Coast promoter. She got us hooked up, and you know what? I want to thank her first, just in case I forget, because you know what? I don't want to forget about her.
Exactly. All the great work she's done, I've had the pleasure of working with her, as you have as well. And
Yeah,
all the stuff she does, and she's just so wonderful to deal with.
she is. She's a wonderful, wonderful person, definitely, and she does work hard. So I'm glad we got that. That's good.
And I'm going to start off this interview. I got a very fun question for you. If you were stuck on an island and you can only listen to one band, but you can listen to their whole discography, who would you choose? You've worked with many great legends, so I'm very curious about this answer.
On a desert island, one album, one
Well,
artist.
one artist, whole discography.
Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, without a doubt.
I like that. I got a lot of Led Zeppelin answers for that question. So, I mean, truly great legends. I mean, just everything they did, really, honestly.
Oh yeah, I mean John Paul Jones was a huge influence on my life. You know the way he did things because, like I'm a bass player, he's a bass player. I play keys, he plays keys. You know, and he produces. He does everything. He's absolutely amazing. The whole band was like just stellar. You know, so yeah, Physical Graffiti for sure.
That's a fantastic album. I mean, just beginning to end of just solid rock music, like just
Oh
solid. I
yeah.
mean, just everything just sounds good. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Oh yeah, like and that album has, I think, everything. You know what I mean? Like it's got, and that's why they put it out as a double album. It's like we have so much material, let's go. And to me, it's just like it's probably my favorite Zeppelin album.
Yeah, I was actually jamming to Led Zeppelin 1 a couple days ago, so I mean,
Oh yeah?
you gotta let the lead out every once in a while.
Oh, for sure, definitely, definitely. I try to do it all the time, man. You know, but it's funny because I haven't been getting together with people. And being a session player, I'm not usually with musicians. Like it's all file sharing and everything else. And it's funny, sometimes my wife comes home and I've got the bass going and I'm like, I'm rocking out I got the headphones on and I'm just doing what I do, right? And sometimes it's just for fun, like learning songs and or revisiting stuff too, right? And I've been playing a lot of piano lately, and I'm gonna do some stuff for social media with that too soon. I think we'll see.
Yeah, I think that'd be very cool. And I just like the image of you, just walking in and you have the headphones on, you're just jamming. I love that image.
Oh yeah. Well, my wife, she'll just I'll be doing it. I'll be rocking out, to like the Red Hot Chili Peppers or something, and she'll just walk right by me.
She already knows, like, I'm not even gonna try to talk to him.
That's it. He's in his zone. Let him go. As long as he doesn't break a lamp, I'm cool with it. Yeah. So no. Being at home is like I actually I in life I took the safe route out. I was always into music, always into film. Like either I was playing, I was filming, I was editing, doing post audio, this kind of thing. But I took the safe route out, and I worked for years for the city of Toronto. Lastly, with Animal Services, and I had like a little over 32 years. And I retired. My retirement date was actually February 29th, the leap year. So I've been home since then, and all this COVID stuff happens, and like I haven't even worn pants, man, since February. And I was joking about it today. I said, holy cow, I should try them on just to see if they still fit, right? I put on a pair of jeans. I'm still good, oh yeah.
Well, that's good your pants still fit. Must be very nice to not have to wear pants since February. I would love to do that. But.
Oh yeah. No. I'm a fortunate individual, that's for sure. Like with my life, I'm just, I can't really complain about anything, and I won't. The people I've worked with, just the route that I've taken, got a great pension, got a great, everything, got a great family, and it's like, I'm here. I'm happy.
Yeah, and that's all. I mean, you might not get exactly what you want, but you get everything you need.
Exactly.
And so, with February going on, obviously this year is 2020, and so how have you been staying busy? Because obviously nothing's really going on. No shows, concerts, or very sporadic in between.
Yeah, that's that. In the beginning, that hit me kind of hard because I was talking to Steph Hahn about touring in the States, and we're talking, like I'm in Toronto, and New York, Jersey, everywhere's pretty close. And I thought, you know what, let's get some dates. And I talked to Steph Hahn about that, and he said to me, he goes, let's set that up. So I sent an email out to Vinnie and I said, look, man, because he played the majority of drums on the last Hollywood Monsters album. And I said, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. Would you be interested? And he said, yeah. He goes, and we talked a little bit. What do you need? What do you want? And it just like really, really cool. And I got back to Steph and I said, yeah, Vinny's into it. A few dates. I said, over 2 or 3 weeks, let's plan this. And I was planning to retire at that time when all this was going down. And Steph said to me, what about a guitar player? We need a lead guitar player. Who would you think, would be interested in joining us? So I reached out to Tracy Griava, and I mean, him and Vinny played before on a Dio album, and I thought, you know what, it'd be really cool to have Tracy out on this, and he agreed. So we were all ready to go, and COVID happened. Everyone was really, hesitant about booking dates, and we kind of just, I said to the guys, I said, you know what, it's not really happening. But in the meantime, I've been writing. I've been working on other people's music, doing like in the producer's chair. I've been engineering, that kind of thing. And I've been keeping busy, man. I've been, I'm waiting for, it's almost like I'm planning for when all this ends, when COVID just, and I've got a lot of things going on now. So I'm just waiting to release certain things, do certain things, but I've been keeping myself really, really busy with no pants.
Well, that's the best way, accomplishing work and not wearing pants. I love it.
Exactly.
So can you kind of explain a little bit and some more details about what you've been working on, like anything you can say at this time?
Yeah, you know what? I've been working on my website, RonnieRobson.com, and that is going to be released soon. I'm also doing I'm about halfway through the first episode of a podcast called Rhythm Section Rockcast. And what that's about is drums and bass as a whole, as a driven force. The first episode I'm kind of doing about me, where I evolved from, my mid-teens to now, with a great soundtrack. It's really cool. Trust me,
I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. So it's probably the only time that I will, talk about me a lot or talk about but basically it's history, and this is going to go down like history. It's a bunch of different genres, and I'm going to have like all kinds of special guests, you know, be featured in their music and things like that. And I'm really looking forward to it. Also, I've been asked to be in a publication, and it's all about bass, of course. And that's called The Titans of Bass. And I can't remember the working title they had for it. Titans of Bass, the tactics, the of over 140 famous bass players. And I was really shocked that they got in touch with me and wanted me to be a part of this.
Yeah, that's a very high honor. I actually got the title right here. It's Titans of Bass, Tactics, Habits, and Routines from over 140 of the world's best bass players.
You got it. Man, you've been doing your homework.
I always do my research.
There you go.
And, yeah. Well, sometimes with pants, sometimes without. So.
Oh, see? Perfect. But you know what? When they got in touch with me, I was like, I remember, you know, checking I was making an espresso, hit the button for the espresso, and I checked my email, and it was like, what? They want me, you know, they want to interview me for this? Okay. So, I mean, I was quite shocked, and basically what it was, and what it's going to be is advice for younger bass players, you know. And the biggest advice I gave was, as a hobby, listen to Motown. Go right back to the very beginning, like I did. Yes.
Yeah, that's really the basis of like almost a lot of the bass stuff, like just that soul to it.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like James Jamerson was a great bass player. I mean, you know, I can name off like, you know, 20 great bass players from the Motown era, and you know, I gave some other advice too, you know, what to do, what to listen to, how to rehearse with your bandmates, how you practice, you know, and like everyone else is doing, like Geezer Butler is going to be in this book too from Black Sabbath, and you're wearing the shirt. Let me see the shirt again.
I got it right here. Kind of hard to see with the camera angle, but yeah, Black Sabbath in the day.
But you know what? It's a great project, and I'm involved with this, and I'm really going to push it. So what's going to happen, I'm going to finish off one or two podcasts. I'm going to wait for this book to be released, and then what I'll do is I'll release the website all together, because, you know, it has stuff on me like, hey, you want me to sit on your session, play bass, no problem. You want me to tour, no problem. You know, it's got different pages for different things. You know, you want me to help you out in the studio. A few bass players have reached out to me and said, you know, I'm really not happy with my sound. Can you help me out? Yeah. So, you know what? I've been keeping busy. In fact, the studio's right behind me.
Looks very nice.
Yeah, no, I've been keeping busy, and I'm just delighted to just have so much support, you know. It's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, staying busy, and also like having those people like, you know, in contact and like around them, it really helps you motivate. You know, especially this is a very challenging times for anyone in the entertainment business to not be able to do half of your job. With, you know, you write and record in the studio, but also you tour as well.
Yeah. You know what? I was really looking forward to that. And speaking about you know, other things that I'm doing, I think it was in November or December of 2019. I can't talk about this very much, but there's this great drummer, and he sent me a message on Instagram, and he says, hey man, I really like what you're doing, you know, like, and I think I've only met him twice, like personally, and it was on the road, and you know, he being in his band and me helping, I was actually helping out another band, another great Canadian band. But anyway, he contacted me and said, look, I'm thinking about, you know, doing a little side project, and you know, here's who I'm thinking about for guitar and vocals. Would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, you know, with everything mentioned and him reaching out to me, I went, yeah, that's fantastic, man. He goes, you know, it's a touring band. What we'll do is you know, we're all pros. We'll all just do the stuff that we do, and you know, we'll learn some songs, and and I made a few suggestions. I said, yeah, with these guys that we're playing with, no one is expecting us. No one, like, let's do what everyone's going to expect us to do, but let's throw in a few songs that people won't expect us to do. And let's film the whole thing. Let's film this whole project, because I own a film company, right? So I said, let's film this whole thing. We'll throw it on social media, especially when we tour. But it's not all Canadians. There's one guy mentioned that lives in Rochester, New York, and that's the only thing I'm going to say. I've got a 140-page non-disclosure agreement that I had to sign. I'm kidding. I didn't have to, but no. But you know what I mean? Like it's like, I'm really, really happy that this guy reached out to me and he came up with this idea, and I went, yeah. So again, when all this is over, I get to leave the house, which my wife will love.
You got to put on pants. Oh
yeah, I have to put on pants. Well, it depends. Depends what time of year,
Could be shorts. That's right.
That's it.
Or depending on what part of the country you're going, you can wear a kilt too. So.
And you know what? I got a new kilt too. I bought it in January, and it's really cool. And I put it on just to try, and they did a great job. And I'll put it on the link below. This kilt company is amazing. They're from the States. They're a great company, and I'm going to push them too, because, as I said, but I haven't had a chance to go out and wear it anywhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, all dressed up, nowhere to go.
I know. So now everyone's going to say, we need a picture of you with your kilt on.
Yes.
Which I will do. No problem.
Fantastic. Make sure to tag me in it, because I want to see this now.
I will. You'll be the first person. There you go, Matthew.
Right on. All right. So I want to talk about, you work with so many great legends. You've done a lot. You have a lot of stuff going on right now. But I want to start at the beginning. How did you get involved in the music industry? Like, what was like your first taste, like your first time getting into it?
Well, that's a good question. It really is. Like I played in bands when I was younger. And then I started working in a recording studio. In fact, I worked in two at the same time. And I would play, jam with this band. I would, my first band, serious band, I think was Prophecy. And, we played, we jammed, we rehearsed. But I was always, same thing with like that in film. I was always in and out. And all of my friends, my closest friends back then were like either musicians, actors, or worked in film production. So, I mean, I would just play. I would sit in, like I'd be engineering, and I would sit in, or I'd make suggestions. And next thing you know, it's like, hey, can you play on my next, they book time. Can you play, bass on the next one, or keys? And like no problem. So it started from there. But as I said, I worked for the city of Toronto for 32 years. Like even with that, I was back and forth. And it wasn't until I took my wife to see Heaven and Hell, and Megadeth was opening, right, in Toronto. And I remember she was there to see Megadeth. She's a huge Megadeth fan, right? And I was there to see Heaven and Hell. But it's funny, Megadeth had two players in that band that were Canadian, Glenn and Sean Drover. So my business partner, I was a couple of days later, and I was on a phone call with my business partner, Cameron LeBlanc, and what's been up? I said, oh man, we saw a great concert, Heaven and Hell and Megadeth. He's going, yeah. He goes, guy I used to work with is playing, Glenn. And well, you're kidding me. And he goes, no, I work with Glenn, good guy, blah, blah, blah. And we talked. Next thing you know, for whatever reason, and I can't remember to this day what it was Glenn and I started hanging out. He lived maybe about 10 or 15-minute drive away from me. So we would hang out, we'd have breakfast, and sometimes we have lunch, and we talk a little bit about music, and and he sent me this this track that he was working on, and it was a Pat Travers song. And he says, I've known you now for 4 or 5 months. I haven't heard you play a note, right? So he says, I want you to, would you mind doing bass on this? I went, yeah, okay. So, I mean, it's on my Facebook page. It's in fact, I just found another, the first mix he did. It was never released anyway, but
Okay.
I started working with Glenn, and then Glenn asked me to be on an album, another Canadian artist, Sophia Radish. And I have some funny stories about that album, because he said, you got to play straight. Okay. You can't, this is, So I was listening to a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers at that time. And there's one song, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was, let me go back for a sec. It was Glenn Drover, his brother Sean, and Sophia, and I was doing bass. So there's a couple songs where you can tell that you got the Flea influence in there, but I had to really tone it down, And then he got me into another album, Hollentor, which absolutely amazing, like songs. I think there's 9 songs on the inaugural album, and it was Henning Bassi from Germany, and he played with Gus G, ex Dio, and Sean, Glenn, myself, and the guy that set it all up, Glenn Poland. And he was in the U.S. military, and he had a lot to say and a lot to write about, and he did a great job. And in fact, they're doing the second album now, and Rudy Sarzo's on bass for this one, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great album. But the first one, again, I'll put the link below so people can have a listen. It was great. So he kind of dragged me back into it, and I got to thank him for that. That's for sure. And Steph Hans, like Hollywood Monsters, kind of reached out to him, and we started, conversing, and he says, I really don't know what to do next. And I said, because we did a few things together, a few songs. We did a couple of Bowie songs. There was something else, and I can't remember what it was right now. But he was like, I don't know what to do next. And I said, are you kidding? Like, revive Hollywood Monsters. I'll help you out with this, And I mean, we've got so many great players on Thriving on Chaos, the last album. It's absolutely amazing. So, and then it kind of, tumbled in from there. Of course, on that album, I started working with, other people. And you know what? He surprised me with a lot of stuff too. We were doing a song, and again, I can't remember the name of the song, but we're working on it. And it was probably the only song in a long time that I actually stood up on my studio and played bass. Like, I just let it go. And I did a little wah thing. It was a little crescendo, and it was, going down. I thought, you know what, let me throw a wah in there before his guitar solo. Well, when he sent it back to me, I sent him the track, and he was mixing the track, and he sent it back to me. It had Don Airy on keyboards. And I mean, Don has played with, everyone. And he surprised me with that. So it was like, holy crap. And then, not only that, is Don Airy's using a wah. So, I mean, my wah got a little bit buried in the mix, but, who cares?
It's still there.
Yeah, it's still there, and I mean, it's a great song. It's called "Scream Licking for a Mouth." That's the song, but it's on Hollywood Monsters' third album, "Thriving on Chaos."
And you just mentioned about the Hollywood Monsters. I actually want to talk about that. You were currently a part of them, and last year they released the new album, Thriving on Chaos. How
Yeah.
was it like writing and recording that?
Well, you know what? Steph did all of the writing for that. And basically what I was doing was I would do the bass things. I set up the website. I was doing a lot of business for that at that particular time. So, I mean, it was easy for me to come in and do certain things. But you know what? Steph kept me on my toes, man. He really did.
I believe it.
And we would talk every day. Like we would, you know, like we're 6.5 hours difference. And, I'd go to bed at, 10 o'clock or whatever. I'd send him a message and I'd get a message like really early from him. And it's like, I had to get up and pee. Like, but, like he was there. He was still, he did a great job on this album. That's for sure. And I'm really, really happy to be a part of that. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, just the quality and just the just everything about it. You just tell it's. I don't really know. I don't have like the right. It's just the quality. I don't really have like the right terminology, but just it's very whole about everything you can hear and everything they've added.
Yeah, and you know what? Too, Matthew, it's like a mix. You got metal in there. I mean, I got Glenn Drover to play guitar on a track. It's metal. It's classic rock.
Yeah.
We got some soft rock in there. It's a meld of everything, and to me, it wasn't overproduced, and that's what I love. And it ended up in who mastered it, a gentleman by the name in Sweden. His name is Tommy Denander, and Tommy has worked with like everyone. You look up his name on Wikipedia, and his discography is just like, I hope you have a half an hour at least because it's like huge. And Tommy, he's worked with Alice Cooper and all kinds of other people, and such a nice guy too. And he mastered all this stuff before it went, for for whatever we do after it. Right?
Yeah, the next step.
Yeah, the next step. And you know what? He did such a great job, and he even didn't overdo things. It is what it is. And like I threw on a Jethro Tull album, Aqualung, the other day on vinyl, and I listened to that, and I thought to myself, I'm quite fortunate. That album, the way it sounds like something like that vinyl, like Jethro Tull, like, back in the 70s, where they paid, so much money to do, where we all have home studios and we, file sharing and stuff, but that album wasn't like precise. And that's what I loved about it so much.
Not like a machine where everything's going to be like on point. There's going to be a little bit of variety. There's a bit different, but it actually made a very good point too that back then about recording versus recording nowadays where you could be in different countries even and recording and you all have your home studios, can't talk, and you can file share and you can connect with people that aren't even in the same location as you.
Exactly. I mean, this album, Thriving on Chaos, we had, Los Angeles, Toronto in 3 or 4 different locations. I mean, there's 5 Canadians on this album too, which is great. Danko Jones, Alexis Von Craven. We had Greg Godovitz, Glenn Drover, and myself. And it's like, history right there is absolutely fantastic. We had Fred Mika from Brazil, a couple of guys out of LA. We have in France, we have, mastered in Sweden. And it's like, man, this is just so cool. It's a great time to be alive.
It traveled the whole world without you guys ever really going anywhere.
Yeah. And I mean, the album is now in when it's mailed out, you buy a physical copy. It's in Brazil, and there is a Japanese version of it too, which reminds me, I still have to contact them to order. I want everyone to have a Japanese version. I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like. Oh, so are there physical copies available for Starting Around Chaos still, if people are interested?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? And I'll post it. I'll post it. When you
Fantastic.
post this, you let me know, and what I'll do is I'll provide some links.
Fantastic. Yes, if anyone's interested, please listen to Hollywood Monsters, man. You are in for a treat.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I
Treat
mean, I love
yourself.
it.
Listen to them.
Oh yeah. Thank you very much.
So, I mean, you've worked, as we are kind of talking a little bit about recording and stuff, you've worked with many great legends and still work with many great legends to this day. Did anyone have any unique or different takes of, like, how to record music, like, even, like, back then or even today?
One thing that stands out was being in the studio. I was downtown Toronto with Danko Jones, and I think there was four of us, in the room, and he would do. He did a cover of Thin Lizzy. He did like absolutely amazing job, but how he did it, and he went in and he did all the verses, right? Did all the verses, everything's cool, and then he did all the choruses, and then he did all of the harmonies he needed to do, and that got me thinking, like, as a session bass player, I've had, like I would walk into my studio behind me and I would play the song and I'd have people come back and say, hey, Ronnie, can you, like in the chorus or the bridge, can you do this or that or this or that? And it's not like, I'm in a recording studio where I can punch in. I have to make another recording session and record that little section. So it got me thinking, I'm going to start doing the same thing. I'm going to start doing all of the verses, the choruses. I always ask to be the last one to do their stuff, on the recording because I want to hear what the vocalist is doing. I want to hear what the, guitar player is playing for a lead. And there was many times where I had to, have to re-record something, or I wanted to re-record something because I was surprised by it. And it's like, okay, let me do this. Let me, let's put this up to 10 now or 11, let's go. Yeah. So watching Danko do his thing, and it really kind of made me think, and it's saving me some time. So yes, definitely.
Well, I think that's actually to me that sounds very smart of, record, those sections, and then you can put it all together, but you've already like recorded, like, oh, I messed up on here, I can re-record only this section. I mean, that's very clever.
Well, yeah, and you know what? The thing about it is if I have someone that says, "Hey, can you do an upper registry on this one, on this part of the song?" It'll take me 30 seconds to do, or like a minute to do. By the time I load it up, do it, send it back to them, and they're happy. So it's like, bang, here you go. So yeah, and there's a few other people like Vinnie Appice. The guy is just solid as they come. And if I were to have like you said, would you rather play live with Vinnie or record with Vinnie? I'd say record. Because Vinnie, when he does things, all of a sudden, as like a rhythm section, you're not expecting stuff. And I giggle when I get a drum track from him, because I know the song, I know what's going on in the song, and then all of a sudden, he'll do, maybe like other drummers don't do that at that section, and he makes it work so well. So playing live with him, I would probably just stick to the song. I would maybe, accentuate what the vocals are doing or the guitar is doing, but I stay right in the pocket with Vinnie because I don't know what he's going to do next. And he's an amazing player, that's for sure.
And actually, you brought up something, while we were setting up this interview, a very interesting question. So I'm going to ask you, who are your top 3 drummers you have recorded with? I'm very curious about this.
Okay. Who I've recorded with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or have you played with? Or I forgot. Well, either.
No, you know what? No, recorded with, I can give you a top 3.
Okay.
Maybe with an honorable mention.
Go for it. It's your interview, man.
Vinnie for sure. Vinnie Appice, solid as they come. As I said, when I get drum tracks for him, I just giggle when I listen to him. He records great. He also builds his own his computers to record with too. So if anybody's interested in a good computer for recording, get a hold of Vinnie. Vinnie Appice, number 1. Number 2, someone that I think I could play live with and record with any day. Sean Drover, solid, ex-Megadeth, Act of Defiance, Eidolon, and Megadeth. I mean, that guy is killer.
He's a beast.
Yeah, absolutely killer. I mean, his double kick, everything about him, and I feel comfortable. I've done a couple albums with him, and it's almost I'm familiar what he's going to do next, but what he does next is always amazing. And so Sean for sure. Another cat out of Toronto, Sasha Tukach. He played with Platinum Blonde, and the guy's like a chameleon. You could put him in any musical situation whatsoever, and he's going to pull it off. I did a couple of songs with him, with Steph Hond, actually, prior to Hollywood Monsters, but I've always been a fan of his playing. As I said, he's like a chameleon. You can throw him in any situation, and he's going to rock it for sure. Honorable mention, Alexis Von Craven. Another monster rock and metal drummer. I'd like to do more with him. In the coming months, I'd like to do kind of like a bass and drum thing with him. Just like,
that would be sick. Both
man,
you guys together.
Yeah. He's absolutely killer. So, and he's probably hearing about this for the first time right now. So, he'll be ringing me up saying, "I'm in. Let's do it. Come on, it's cool."
Well, if you're watching, you should be. Get with him. I'm all for it.
Oh yeah. No, the guy's like a complete. Not only is he like a sound drummer technically in everything, but he's a great showman too. So I think him and I together would definitely we'd rock it.
Yeah, I'm all for that, and I totally believe that as well. And it just you guys together, I think you burn down the house, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you're right. Thank you, Matthew.
Hopefully figuratively, not literally, but I don't know.
Well, you never know. I'll wear pants that night.
I'll put out the fire. I always ask my guests this question. I'm always curious. What music have you been listening to this week? I already know you named Jethro Tull. That's one.
That's one. That was on vinyl. Jethro Tull, Aqualung. I listened to Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life. I listened to, I can't remember which Chili Pepper album I listened to. I've been going back and forth with some of the recordings that I did with other people, and I've been kind of messing around on Pro Tools with that. And you know what? Neil Young. This morning.
Solid pick. Yeah, solid.
Yeah, Neil Young Harvest, which is an amazing album. You guys got him now. He's Canadian, but he's an American citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? Because where I grew up in a little town called Dunsford, Ontario, but in between Lindsay and Bobcaygeon, for those who want to Google it. Anyway, his family lived in they had a farm in a town, I don't know how many kilometers it would be, probably less than 12, but it was in Omimi, and he lived there. And a little funny story that I was reminded of a couple of weeks ago, and we're on my dock, like my parents had a cottage resort, and I was with my older sister and some of her friends, and it was a really dark night and very cloudy night, and we had like what we called a raft, and it was like this thing out in the water, probably about 40 or 50 feet away from the dock, and these people came by in a rowboat, and the guy was playing guitar, and it sounded exactly like Neil Young. And of course I had to make a smart ass comment anyway, but they laughed. And it was like, that was Neil Young.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he says the next song will tell you. Maybe it'll tell you. And I can't remember the song that he did, but it was Neil Young.
That's actually really cool. I mean,
and I was reminded of this, and when he started playing, I yelled out something about Led Zeppelin, like, do you know any Zeppelin tunes? And of course I got the elbow from, dude, that's Neil Young. I go, no, it's not. Dude, that's Neil Young. So yeah. So anyway.
That's very cool. Like, Neil Young on a raft.
Yeah.
Just floating by.
Like they stopped at the raft, like they were in the rowboat, right?
Oh yes.
And they stopped at the raft, and it was like, we were chatting, we heard, some tunes, and as I said, it wasn't a very bright night, so we couldn't see. It was like a very overcast. It was like August or, late July, early August, and I was probably maybe about 13 or 14 years old. But yeah, Neil, you gotta love Neil.
Very cool. This week I'm listening to, as my shirt says, I've been listening to Black Sabbath,
Yeah,
Ozzy, of course.
Yeah.
Listening to some Creed, Alter Bridge, so Alice Cooper, like a bunch of great stuff this week.
Hollywood Monsters?
Of course.
Okay. There you go. Perfect. You know what? How do you end your night? Some Danko Jones.
I'm
Yes.
gonna do that.
You do that. You'll do that.
All right, so thank you so much for hanging out with me. Very fun time chatting with you.
Yeah.
And I got one more thing before we go. I know 2020 has been an interesting year, to say the least.
Yes.
What are some of your future plans for the rest of 2020 and now into 2021? I know you kind of talked about it, but is there some other stuff you're in the works as well?
You know what? I'm going to wait for the book to be released. I'll publish my website, RonnieRobson.com. I will, once this thing is over, I plan on nonstop touring with this band that we've been talking with. I want to go. I'll get out of the house, come back, a couple weeks in, couple weeks out. My wife will be happy. Oh, he's gone? Okay, good. Now I can paint the bathroom, But yeah, no, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to work on more projects with people around the world. Hopefully just touring and relaxing. Just exactly what I want to do is those two things. Tour and just play on sessions and relax and maybe seed my lawn in the spring.
Put some pants on.
Put some pants on, mow my lawn, that kind of thing. Oh yeah. No, keep it easy peasy for the rest of my life.
I like. How about Hollywood Monsters? Anything coming up with them?
No, you know what? It's funny because like after the Thriving on Chaos happened, Steph's into a new band, Now or Never, NON. Everyone's kind of doing stuff, like doing their own thing. I would love, once this thing is over, to come together and tour. Like with that lineup, Vinnie, Steph, me, and Tracy G. I think that would be absolutely amazing. And never say never. So, we're all busy. Everyone's trying to survive. Everyone's doing what they need to do. But you know what? I would love that. Go out as the Hollywood Monsters. Let's go. I'm ready.
I think that would be epic. I mean, if you guys ever came around my area, I would totally love to see you guys. I mean,
Well, you know what? You're in Connecticut, right?
Indiana.
Indiana. Oh, you're in Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. That's about 5.5 hours. No, we're there.
Okay. I'm
We're
there
there.
too.
We're there. Okay, cool. Okay, for some reason I thought you were in Connecticut. Why did I think
Christina's
you were?
from Connecticut.
Yeah, but I thought you were. I know she is, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Indiana representing right here.
Oh yeah, cool. Well, Indiana's got a good representative. Let me tell you.
That's right. This guy right here.
That's it.
Ronnie, thank you so much for hanging out with me, man. Fun time. We gotta do this again sometime.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When you get everything released, man. Just till you talking just about music with you, man. Fun time.
You know what? I really appreciate you having me on. I really do. And you know what? I had a blast. You're a great interview. You asked really good questions too, which is cool. So I'm in. Anytime, Matthew.
Love it. We will get together again. But for Ronnie Robson, session bassist for a bunch of great legends I've listed in my intro out of Toronto, Canada, I am Matthew Thomas from Super Cool Radio, and thank you for watching.